This is Arts Alive. I'm Lynda Phillippi, and my guest today is Kimberly Kahoot, who is a Newburgh area artist. And welcome, Kimberly.
Thank you for having me.
Now, this is exciting. So
Yes.
I loved walking in and seeing you and the way everything's displayed, and your work is so beautiful.
Thank you so much.
So let's talk a little bit about you. How did you come to art in this area? And give us a little bit of your story.
A little while back, I married somebody from this area and moved from Canada. And he had a house up on Bald Peak.
Okay.
And so we were trying to decide whether or not to live there together or whether to go somewhere. I was concerned there was no arts community out this area.
Were you?
Well, I'm new to the area, right?
Right.
So it's sort of like we're in the middle of nowhere. We have 5 acres up there.
Uh-huh.
And I said, oh, no, I don't think this is going to work. I'm an artist. I need a community. And so we spent the winter exploring all the options of art out here in Yamhill County. And I mean, our dance card was full.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, yeah, okay,
we can do this.
We can do this. We can live here. So I spent quite a few years going to the Art Harvest studio tour and looking at all the art and thinking, one day I would like to do this. I had been making art in Canada. I was a teaching artist with the Royal Conservatory in Toronto.
Wow.
And I was part owner of a gallery there, and I just thought, okay, it's time. Renovations of our home were all finished, and and I had been active enough in the community to understand it. So this is the year that I am now dipping my toe in the water.
I love it. I think it's going to be phenomenal, and I think that your art is really, it's so compelling. You want to talk a little bit about what you do and the pieces that you brought today?
Sure. We can start with this one.
Sure.
This is a recent piece that I made. It's called Botanical Contact Printing. Okay. So certain leaves have certain tannins in them, which make color on fabrics, and on natural fabrics. So this particular grouping is alder and a smoke bush.
Oh, okay.
So the bright purple bushes with the big fluffy sort of seeds. That's what that is. And I had laid it out on. You basically lay it all out. Put your leaves where you want them to go, and then you roll them up. But you lay a blanket on top, and what I did is I laid this on top of it. Okay,
another piece of silk.
Yes. Added a little iron, which adds sort of a depth and sort of takes the brightness out of the colors. And that's what happened. So it's quite interesting, isn't it, to see how
I love it, actually.
One is because they're different silks too. This is a stonewash crepe de chine, and this is a noir. So both of these did different things. Love it, love it. So I've been playing around with that. I think I started that during COVID, just because we're confined to home, and I have acreage in the forest. And I also started taking some painting classes online.
Oh, okay.
And these paintings here are, I guess, what has transpired since then. They're watercolor. They are, I would say, free-form, abstract. And I put them on a birch panel with handmade paper. So handmade mulberry. No, I have not made that paper. I've purchased it.
Okay.
So I have a series.
You're not total pioneer woman.
I'm not total pioneer woman yet. Not yet. But I started making all of these series because during COVID, we have a pond on our site, our home site, and we would sit in the evening and watch the sun go down there. And it was just so quiet. I mean, nobody was moving around. The world had stopped, but the garden had not, and nature had not. So painting was sort of a way for me to, I guess, record the forward motion of the world without us moving with it.
Right.
It was really an interesting juxtaposition. And inevitably, golden hour was the hour I was out. So
Yeah, right.
I have a series, and I've written a poem actually to go with this series that you can read on my website too. But golden hour is such a magical time of the day. And on Bald Peak, on Chehalem Mountain, well, in this whole area, there is not one bad sunset.
No, no, it's beautiful, actually.
Right?
Yes.
You have to see every single one of them.
You do, yeah.
So that's what I've tried to capture.
I love that.
Yeah.
So tell me what that was like taking online painting lessons.
It was, I like people, so I didn't enjoy it as much as I would. I mean, it's like learning from a book, basically. Yeah. I like workshops. I like hands-on, and I like interacting with people and teachers. So, there's that. And I also do. I also do Venetian plaster pieces.
Oh.
So my other love, other than art and writing, is travel.
Okay.
You and I have a lot to talk about.
Yeah, we do, for sure.
And I have, throughout the years, collected ephemera from all corners of the earth. And they're all in a big box and just waiting for me to do something with them. And when we decided to renovate our home, I took plastering lessons.
Oh.
So Venetian plaster, how to apply it to walls. And I had some left over, and I started to play around with it. It's got this buttery, silky sort of texture. And I'm sure from your travels in Italy and France, just, all the plaster walls and how they're layered, and then they're cracked, and they have sort of this bumpiness.
They didn't know they were being so artistic at the time.
They're pieces. I used to come home with all these pictures of walls.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, it's time to actually do that on a piece of plaster. And so I have things like maps, old maps that I've found, and old tickets for a variety of different, like train tickets, for instance. We would go to the markets, and I would find packets of stamps and all kinds of different really cool old things. Old napkins with logos of the cafe on them. So this is all making its way into the layers of my Venetian plaster.
Okay.
The first series that I have is from Italy. They're all Italian. Mike and I, my husband and I, were in Italy just before COVID for about a month and traveled around on the train and collected things. So this one's all about Italy, yeah. So I'm excited to show that in October.
I'm going to say it's always a good trip when you have to buy an extra suitcase to get home.
Right? Yes.
For sure.
Yes.
So, all right. Well, now you're on the tour. Are you
Yes.
showing at your home studio?
No. Barbara Paniker, who is one of my neighbors on Bald Peak, reached out and asked if I would join her and hers.
Perfect.
Yes. So I have been preparing for that. She's got a very eclectic style. She's an abstract artist, and she's also a ceramic artist. And then not even 15 minutes from us, there are 5 other artists.
So your area is going to be a good
Yes.
stop for people on the tour.
Record number of artists up in that corner.
That's wonderful.
Yes, we call ourselves the Chehalem 7.
You know what? What I like about that, though, it's true. It's for anybody who's looking at the map and trying to plot out their route.
Yes.
And sometimes they'll say, "Well, I want to try to see all the new people,
Right.
but I really want to see my old favorite too."
Yes.
But if there's a cluster,
It's easy.
It's really easy.
And then the other 5 some are sharing studios too, which makes it even easier for the people who are traveling around on the tour to see everything.
Sure.
And I mean, last year's weather was so wonderful during tour. If it's anything like that, I suggest people bring a picnic.
Oh, okay. That's a good idea. Sure.
Put the picnic basket, throw the bottle of rosé in there, and go up to Bald Peak, because there's a state park there. Nobody seems to know about it. Enjoy the view there while you're eating, and then travel around and see our art.
It's definitely a hidden gem
Yes.
up in that neck of the woods because, yeah, most people don't go that way.
No, it's the back roads are just such fantastic opportunity to just see the wildness of the area.
So aside from the tour, then, do you show your work at any local galleries?
I have not yet.
Mm-hmm.
I've participated in auctions and things like that, though. Yes.
So right now you've probably just been busy gearing up,
Preparing, yes.
making sure that you have enough work.
Yes, exactly. Okay. Yes. I really don't know what to expect. I know there from comments from other artists, have a lot of art. It flies out the door. So I've been head down just making art.
Good for you.
It's been a weird summer because usually I'm in the garden.
A lot more.
Yes. So but making botanical contact prints, it pushes you out the door into the wilderness.
Sure.
And so being in contact with nature is important to me. So I'm still doing that.
So there's probably a lot of, I would say, trial and error with the botanical prints because
yes.
what this looks like this, but what colors are going to come out? Is it going to be gold or brown or purple or green?
If you're somebody who's a control freak, you would hate it. Mm-hmm. It's taught me a lot about letting go control and attachment to outcome. And some of the scarves that I will be selling in October, I will have reprinted them. And that's interesting too. I'm learning a lot just about what happens when you've printed once and then you throw on some other stuff and a different blanket, a different mordant, which is what prepares the fabric to hold the tint. So it's interesting. Yeah.
Oh, let me ask you a question. So if you took that scarf off,
yes.
laid it out, stretched it out, then could you use silk paint on it?
Yes.
To enhance it?
Yes.
Is that what you're talking about, something along those lines?
Well,
or do you typically do the botanical stuff again?
The actual botanical ones, I'm going to remain true to the botanical contact. So meaning I wouldn't enhance them. But when I lived in Canada, the majority of silk that I sold was synthetic dye.
Okay.
Yes. So painted. I had a stretcher frame and I painted designs on it. And this is sort of interesting because nature's doing all the painting.
I love it. I think that's great.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, and so, but you do have a studio at your place to work in. Okay.
I have I'm very lucky. I have a huge studio.
Nice.
So I have a section that's solely just dyeing and sewing, and I have a section that's just solely painting, and then I have sort of a work area where the Venetian plaster is. So I have, I have sort of 3 areas that are on the go.
And you'll be showing all of those types of work on the tour?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And let's talk about the tour, the first 2 weeks of October.
Yes. The first 2 weekends. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Oh my goodness, you're asking me the dates.
No, just the first 2 weekends in October is
Yes.
fine. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And the buttons are available a lot of different places.
Yes, well, we all sell them. So if you're not able to buy one, I think the Merry Artist is the place to go to get one. And you can certainly purchase from the artist too. If you feel like you don't want to drive all the way to the Merry Artist, you can just grab one on the tour. We're happy to help.
You're excited, nervous, all of it, right? It's going to be fun.
Oh, I'm excited.
Yeah.
Yes. I've shown art in Canada before, so it's inspiring to see what other people are doing. I'm a little sad I'm not going to be doing the tour myself because I always am inspired with the quality of work that gets made in this area. But yeah, I'm more excited than nervous.
Good, I'm really glad.
Yeah.
Well, it's wonderful to have you here today, and
Thank you.
I'll look forward to seeing you on the tour, if not before. You want to tell us your website real quick?
It's kdkahoot.com.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you.